you have fun planned today, whatever it is. Hopefully it's going well.
And again, we're now into creeping into late May, mid May. Hopefully, the weather is turning wherever
April.
you're located at.
April. You've already
April.
sprung this forward. Hold
Yes,
on.
month. I meant to say April. Thank you for correcting me once again, my lovely wife. Yeah, so we are back in Studio A today. We wanted to go back to a little presentation. We're going to be going back to the kitchen here again over the next couple of weeks. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that, our talk last week, and we'll kind of recap it here in just a second. But today we're going to talk about some crucial things around some small, simple hacks that can actually improve your overall running, your health.
And it might not be on your radar. At least it was not on mine. And like I said, I always like to share the research I do and things that I find. Science is always changing. Your information is always changing. We have to be open to new information and critically thinking about the information that we receive and parsing with it, and dissecting it the best that we can. So the things that I come across that have really been affected me and stuff like this, I like to share it. And it's not saying this is what you should do, but we're going to give you reasons why we do it.
Yeah, exactly. And then, as we say each week, this is not medical advice. You need to talk to your doctor, consult your physician, whoever you work with. We're, as Patty mentioned, we're sharing with you guys stuff that we either research ourselves or we apply to ourselves, and we apply our critical thinking skills, which we're encouraging you guys to use your critical thinking skills because you want to have your body and your mind feel great today. So you're going to love how you feel because you're using those critical thinking skills and you're consulting with your doctor. And we're just sharing with you guys some information to talk about. So recapping last week real quick, we did that amazing recipe in our her Patty's sister's wonderful kitchen here. We talked, and here's the recipe in case you missed it. I'll just fly through that real quick. But it was actually an amazing dinner. So hopefully you guys had a chance to try that out. And if you didn't, if you do in the future, let us know how it turned out. We're very curious. Just put some comments below, and we'd love to kind of share that. So today we're going to talk about 2 super hacks to improve your running. The two-fisted iron truth. A little thing that my friend, some AI helped me out with that one there.
Yeah. Things that you might be experiencing that you might not. There's a lot of things that can contribute to things or whatever. But if you're feeling like you're having some fatigue, maybe you're getting just having some issues, we're having some joint pain and stuff, things that have where you're just not quite feeling right. A lot of times, what do we think the first thing is? It's like, oh, is something wrong? Is something that, with runners, we can be overtraining. There can be a lot. I've, told you explicitly, like, listen to your body when it starts to, headaches are not normal. Having low energy is not normal. Having joint pain and all that. These are things that are not normal. These are things that your body is saying, hey, something's kind of wrong. So whether you're feeling these type of things or you just want to improve your health and make sure that your body is functioning the way it should, we're going to talk about 2 things that can definitely help you with that.
Yeah. So again, we all experience headaches occasionally and inflammation to some degree, especially with running. But again, Patty just mentioned, you just want to be careful of these things. And again, you want to consult with your doctor because as runners, we do something called foot strike hemolysis. We had to look that up, and I got that right. So our feet are constantly hitting the pavement or wherever you're running,
even
just
red
the
blood
dirt.
Cells from the pounding.
The pounding is going to take an impact on your body, which is going to cause inflammation, right? A form of it.
Now, I told you a little while ago, maybe that's probably been actually quite a while ago. I give blood regularly because I have B negative. It's a universal thing. So once they find out you have a blood type that they need a lot, you get, they contact you a lot. So I just got in the habit. And I told you that one time I couldn't give blood because they said, my hemoglobin was too low. And I thought, or my hematocrit was, and that surprised me. I eat red meat. I feel fine. Everything. I eat iron-rich food. I'm like, that didn't, it was kind of puzzled me. I went online and looked. It's like, are runners more susceptible? Because I'm a gigantic runner. We all are. And then I found, foot strike hemolysis. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. Then I started looking at some other studies, and I found a study of a couple, like 400 runners, and half of them were anemic. And I was like, wow. I'm like, all right, well, so the information's out there. I'm like going, all right, well, maybe I have a low level of, anemia or something like that. So it was something that if I just looked at what was out there, it would make sense. She suggested I actually, check with my doctor, but, eat some more iron rich food, which is weird because I already was doing that. Instead of taking that to the next level and saying, maybe the iron's not working right in my body.
And again, what did that do? She started using her critical thinking skills to say, maybe there's something else here because of some stuff with her mom.
Which I completely forgot about. My mom was anemic, was constantly taking iron pills. Now, I didn't realize that, but obviously the doctor we had growing up was a quack, or just did not parse out that why you would keep being anemic, why taking iron supplementation. He retired. My mom was almost would have been in liver failure if he had not retired, probably. A new doctor came in and said, whoa.
Right.
Found out she had hemochromatosis. She had to have a lot of blood taking blood out. So that was that. So even though I knew about that from way back then, it still was not on my radar to be like, wait a minute, maybe everything is all right. There's just something else going on, so, long story, but there were 2 incidences where this should have been on my radar and it wasn't. And I looked at it again and I was like, luckily I didn't go, because if they would have done some test, and the simple test that they do to say that, your serum ferritin is what they're going to test, and your CBC, those are cursory things that don't actually tell the true story. They tell you your serum. The amount of blood that iron you have in your blood versus the iron that you have in your cells is radically different.
Right. So the point of this is that regular testing a lot of times is going to give you false information. So,
or it's just not enough,
enough
of a picture of what is truly going on.
That's a better way to say it. It's actually not the full picture, which is the critical thing. Is you need data to make some good decisions, but you need to make sure you have enough data and the full picture.
And some of these other testing is more expensive. So your doctor's not going to do it. Your insurance company's not going to pay for it unless it's on your radar to ask for more. Your doctor might be like, all right, this is this, your hemoglobin's this. All right, I'm going to give you, like my mom's doctor. Here you go. Here's your iron tablets. We know iron is a highly reactive thing that our body produces. We need it in there, but too much of it, really, really bad.
Right. It's toxic, right? So because your body stores 1 milligram of iron per day in your tissues. Right. So you got to be careful of this. This is why we're talking about this, because again, Patty's story and the situation there that evolved into this, which was Miss Rabbit Hole here, a researcher kept digging, fortunately, because she was using those critical thinking skills and learned that it was actually tied to copper.
And it's just not something that, we hear about magnesium, we hear about potassium, we hear about all those, but copper, I'm like, not really on my radar at all. It's one of those like manganese and one of those other ones lower on the mineral thing. Another reason why having your vitamin and mineral status checked with your regular testing is part of something that would have seen. But we know one of copper's huge things that it does is it allows iron to function properly in your body. The iron in your body goes into your mitochondria, and it should be recycled. It needs to be recycled. It makes hemoglobin. We know oxygen binding, iron binding in your blood that delivers energy to your cells.
Which is going to let us run more efficiently, right? We need energy to run. We need energy to live. This is why you need to have this normal system, and the benefits of having the right amount of copper is going to help your body cycle that or recycle that appropriately.
And if it doesn't do that, it's going to unfortunately start storing it in your tissues.
Which is going to lead to those issues we talked about a minute ago,
Those
inflammation, excess, and it's going to cause some whole cascading of a whole bunch of other issues, right?
Yeah.
So the benefits again of this is also it's going to support your immune function, support the old brain and your brain function, which is what we want, right? I want to be thinking clearly, using our critical thinking skills again, promoting. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of your bone health. You know, we're realizing how complex our body is, so complex, and that it is all of these enzymatic reactions take a lot of minerals, a lot of things going on. Now we know that our mitochondria, I've been studying that a lot. It's not just, you know, it's our powerhouse. You learned that in chemistry. You know, it's a power, or biology. It's the powerhouse of your cell. It's way more than that. It is part of a huge amount of things that is doing all these processes and helping in all these different reactions in our body. Iron being a huge one. It allows it to recycle. It allows it to be formed into hemoglobin or into other things. So it's not just stored. We don't want to keep storing, because our body actually makes a milligram get stored in our tissues a day just because of the neural processes that we have. So if it's not being regulated, being recycled, and doing all this with the copper, then you're getting extra that is stored in our tissues, and it's not showing up in the testing that they are doing. But tissue health, copper is important in your tendons. We all know about tendons. We all know about ligaments. We all know about that from running. That's a huge part of that normal function that we have. Copper is actually part of that too. So
yeah, and it's going to help you produce collagen, which we need as runners, right? We know that, and it acts as an antioxidant.
And that it helps. It not only regulates iron, it helps in regulating or recycling oxygen too, because oxygen, we need it to breathe and all that stuff. But oxygen, we know reactive oxygen species really bad. So oxygen can do some pretty terrible things if it's not recycled into water. It gets recycled into other things that can be really damaging, and that's what can that free radical damage that we talk about. That's a big part of it. So this helps to counteract that.
Yeah, exactly. So the other increase, the reason why you want to get copper, or how you can get it, is through eating liver. I know a lot of us, I don't mind eating it. Patty gets disgusted by it.
I can't do it. So I have a high quality beef liver.
There's one that we're getting right now. If you can see that right there. This is the one that we choose to take.
Not saying you have to take it, but this is the one that now to get liver has so many minerals, and it's one of the most nutrient dense things. Unfortunately, it's just gross and I can't handle it. But I know, you know, you're going to pay a lot for a good quality, not a lot, but you know, it's relatively, when you think about the health benefits of it, you know, pretty inexpensive. But get a good quality one. You definitely need.
Unless the first choice would be to eat the actual organ meat, the liver organ meat. So
yeah, we used to be nose to tail. that had to be part of our thing, just because that was it. You know,
we needed it. Back then you
didn't have a choice. You know, you couldn't go to the supermarket. You can get this. You needed, you know, to survive. That's how we ate. So we got all of these nutrients that we needed from eating all the organ. Actually, they used to give the animals the muscle meat, and they ate the organs because they knew back then that's where all the nutrients were at. And now we've kind of flipped that around.
Yeah, but anyway, back so the other thing, you can get some whole food vitamin C. I have to laugh at that.
Yeah. Now, why I say, and this is something else that was not on my radar, that whole food vitamin C is a lot different than a supplement of vitamin C that says ascorbic acid. I never really thought much about that, but there was a trend of high vitamin C. You know, you see it for those packs when you have the flu or when you have a cold, when you have something going on. But taking a regular supplement of vitamin C is not healthy. That ascorbic acid that you take with your C in a supplement form is really only for acute instances, like you're really sick, you have the flu, very episodically using that. But you need vitamin C, but it needs to come from your foods. So, your broccoli, your peppers, I don't eat oranges, but oranges, there's tons of strawberries are another one. Whole foods that have vitamin C in it helps to get you your copper that you need to.
So the bottom line is you got to eat real food, right? That's another.
Another thing of saying eat real food. Yes.
Yeah, that's not just another way of saying it. So the other, and again, some people are allergic to shellfish. Obviously, you're going to know that. But if you're not, then this is another way.
Oysters,
to increase.
Lobster have a lot in that. That's not something that we don't eat on a regular basis either. But mushrooms are.
We eat those almost every night now.
Yeah, I did not know. Now I'm like, I like mushrooms, so I'm like, that's an easy thing. I put it in with my eggs. We have roasted vegetables every single night, and now we add mushrooms to that. So there you go. An easy way to add nuts, hazelnuts, cashews. I've told you I'm not eating nuts anymore, so I opted for seeds. Seeds are another thing. This is just
the one that we got here.
It's sprouted organics mixed seeds. So those are also, like I said, you can get it's the sunflower seeds or the chia seeds. I think those are
and
like
we'll put some
main ones.
in the below the video here. We'll put some links to where you can get some of that stuff if you want to. But we're just showing you what we're.
Yeah, you only need a milligram of copper a day, so that's not very much. But if you eat liver, you're fine.
Yeah, that's the bottom line,
most
right?
people are not eating liver. So these other ones have a lot less. So you do kind of have to add. To do that, there's several different things of these things that I have to eat pretty much daily if I want to get that. So the beef liver supplement definitely helps, but to get all of it from this supplement, I have to take 6 of them a day. And I'm like, I don't want to take 6 capsules a day. So I take a couple of those to get some of it, and then I get some of it from mushrooms and from the seeds. So however way you need to parse that out, know that it's a milligram per day.
And again, you can also do an avocado, which is much more popular, much more palatable for most of us. We put it in our shakes, as we've shown you guys in the past. We also add it with eggs and even salads.
Yeah,
so that's just another way.
Healthy fats along with it too. A lot of these processes need fat along with it. A lot of the vitamins that are needed for all of these enzymatic reactions need healthy fats.
Now, we used to get that a lot more in our normal food, but because of the Industrial Revolution in terms of the mass production of food, our soil has been depleted, so we're not getting as much, which is why we're listing these out here. So making sure you're getting enough.
So, and another problem, like I said, you used to, back before all this, you would be able to get it from the soil, from the foods that you grow, because it had copper in the soil. Now our soil is not only is it not nutrient dense because of the industrial mass producing of food, the supplementation of pesticides, all these other things too, actually disrupt copper and take the copper, doesn't allow the copper to work. So this is something that has changed. That was, in theory, a great thing. We needed to feed a lot of people. We needed to do it inexpensively. We needed to do it was all for a good cause to begin with. And then we realized, well, we're robbing all this. We eat food to get nutrients. And now we have to realize that the foods that we're getting, even though we're eating all these, they don't have, They just don't have the amount of nutrients that they had. And in the 1940s, they started fortifying food with iron. So we lost copper, which allows iron to function properly in our body. And then we started adding iron to fortified foods.
So it's kind of a double whammy.
So there's a lot of people that believe, or iron molecular biologists and the people that study these kind of things, that we probably, as old, especially as older adults, that since we're producing that 1 milligram per day, that we might have a certain level of iron toxicity, a low level that could be leading to a lot of people have chronic fatigue. A lot of people have joint pain. A lot of people have inflammation. A lot of people have, now some of it's their lifestyle, some of it's this, but this could be another thing that it's a pretty easy fix. These are healthy foods you should be eating anyways, and something to help along doing these two things that we're talking about today. I believe have a win-win, and especially if you follow, which I'm starting to think more of, that a lot of people misdiagnosed with anemia just probably have, might have been steered the wrong way, like my mom. Hopefully that's not happening too much now, but it could have led us to build up a lot of iron that we don't need. Adding this back in, doing this, allowing copper, because it has not just with that, but it has a huge function with everything in our cells and how they work. Donating blood
is the next best way to do it, right?
Is the only way. If you do have, or you believe that you have iron toxicity, the only way to reduce that, the only way, my mom had to have blood taken out. Now she had to have a lot taken out because of the level that she had. That's a whole different thing. But I started realizing that I'm showing up anemic when I know I should not be. I'm eating these foods and doing all this, so something else is not working right. Changing these things, after that, I've been fine when I've given blood. Now, do I know that that's what happened? No, but
makes logical sense.
I'm going to,
right,
knowing what copper does, knowing what the sun, what my blood, what it showed didn't make sense. This makes sense. So
right, which goes back to why we talk about this all the time. It comes down to what you're eating, and you should be eating real food, not highly processed food, because it's going to affect your overall running and your overall health, right?
Yeah.
And this is just a drill. This is a micro, a real small area of this, but this is why we're talking about this, because it came up recently again. But again, one way to do this is just to donate some blood, and it's good for you anyway, because it's going to help save lives, right? We all want to help other people out, and they're in need of, because we might need it someday.
Actually, you always have to realize it,
Yeah, you might need it someday. So let's just try to make sure we give back. It's going to reduce your risk of heart disease by, if you realize that or not. It's going to actually improve your blood flow. Because you're removing red blood cells or whatever. You're having your body recycle and make new ones. So there's a lot of boosting of that. A lot of benefits that are heart related too, because of obviously with blood flow. So you're saving lives. It's helping your heart. It's helping. We know red blood cells. Why do we want to increase our capillaries? Why do we do those long distance runs? So we can build new capillaries, so we can get more blood, get more oxygen, run more, do all that stuff. This helps towards it. Yeah, exactly. And the other benefit is it actually burns calories, whether you knew that or not, or realize that. But it can burn approximately 650 calories for every pint of blood. I didn't know that until we were researching this. Like, not that you want to do that to
not a weight loss,
not a weight loss cause, or not the way to actually burn calories, but it is a byproduct of doing it, because the other ones are way more beneficial.
Yeah.
And again, it promotes a sense of well-being, which is what we all want to have, right? And running, it just helps us feel better about ourselves. This is just another way to help you do that.
Mm-hmm. So it's just one of those things to please. And like I said, I have nothing against doctors, the medical profession.
Of course not.
I don't want to say that. They are overworked. They're not operating in a system that allows them to practice good medicine because we have sick care, we don't have health care. So it has to be on you. You can't rely on them. Yes, they're under your care, and yes, hopefully you have one that you can trust, but you need to ask questions. You need to,
right. And
if you are anemic, if I would have went to my doctor and they just did a regular blood test for this, it probably would have shown that I was anemic or borderline or iron deficient or whatever, and they would have prescribed me. If it shows that, they're going to give you iron pills.
Because it's kind of their protocol. And again, not knocking them, it's the way the system is, which is why we're doing these. So you guys use your critical thinking skills and ask questions.
Or just ask for more tests.
Ask for more tests is really the net of it.
Do some of these things to, like I said, knowing your mineral status and knowing your vitamin status is a huge thing. That would be something that would be worth, not super expensive. Your doctor should be willing to, but a lot of times your doctor is only going to do what they know the insurance will pay for because they assume that's all you will do. So you need to let them know that, and we're not talking crazy $1,000 tests. We're talking just nominal fees, but it's not something that they're just going to run.
Correct.
So
and normally
you have the right to ask.
It is your health.
They are working for you. So if you are ever anemic or showing signs of that, I would ask for more testing, or, try, like I said, some of these things. But the more evidence I see or whatever, it's more that we have a low level iron toxicity that is happening versus being anemic. And like I said,
so this ties into wrapping up here today. If you guys would like to, because again, all of the foundation is your nutrition, right? We've said this many times. We are in our 50s. We are our high school weight because we know what to eat. We eat real foods predominantly. And our weight has not been affected, which allows us to run more, which allows us to feel better. And we're trying to be injury resilient. So we're just doing these common sense things when you really think about it. But a lot of people get stuck, and we understand that. So if you guys are stuck, and you don't know where to start or any of those things, we can set up a free call by going to runtips.us/call. It is on the screen there, and it's going to come up on the bottom of the screen here as we wrap up. But yeah, so really just it'll help you get started because we know we were there. We were overwhelmed, confused, took the responsibility.
If you're overwhelmed, you will never be able to do anything.
A confused mind does not make any decisions, and you're going to be in the exact same spot. So if you're in that spot, here we are mid-April. And a lot of people have goals. And so if you're not quite there yet, that's the reason why.
So remember, it is not normal to be tired, and not because just think because you're in your 50s, your 60s, or your metabolism stays the same from like 20 to like 60. There's not this, oh, I'm just getting older, I need to start slowing down and all that. No. If you are feeling fatigued, if you're not having energy, if you're not, there are reasons. This is your body just can't tell you what it is. So investigate a little bit. The first thing is eating healthy foods.
Yeah, start with that, and then consult with your doctor, of course. But
being a healthy weight, getting daily exercise. So most of us have got those other things dialed in, but if any part of this, you want, like I said, some help or just have some questions about things. Like I said, if I don't know the answer, I will research it and I'll find the answer. It's one of those things that people just get that barrier. And once it feels overwhelming, they just shut down, and it's like, oh.
And that's human nature too.
That's what we all do.
Right. So with that being said, we're going to wrap up here today. Let you guys get it your Saturday and the rest of your weekend.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching. If you have any comments or requests for things in the future, please drop a comment below.
Absolutely.
And we will see you guys again next week.
Happy Saturday.